depth than that. Let's go to the audio sound bites. Ladies and gentlemen, this is yesterday afternoon at the White House, Obama, the Japanese prime minister, with a joint press conference. And there was a question from the Chicago Tribune Washington bureau chief, Christy Parsons. Here's the question. We're coming up on the one-year anniversary of the killing of bin Laden. I'm wondering if you would share some thoughts on that anniversary. And I also wanted to mention that your likely opponent said anybody would have made that call, even Jimmy Carter. So I am curious, what would you say about that? And Mr. Prime Minister, I wonder if you could reflect from an international perspective. If the U.S. is playing it right in marking this anniversary, if you might advise against excessives. Now, does somebody want to try to tell me that that's not a setup? Somebody want to tell me that's not a planted question? What, do we just lost satellite on DVR1? That means I probably had 14 power failures at home just in the last 10 minutes. Got rugged weather out there. We've got 45-mile-an-hour sustained winds out there on the beach. After the second power failure last night, I found out that Florida Power and Light was out trying to get branches off of power lines. I initially blamed them, but then it kept happening long after they left. So it couldn't have been them. Anyway, here's Obama answering that setup, planted question. Listen to this.
I hardly think that you've seen any excessive celebration taking place here. As far as
really?
My personal role and what other folks would do, I'd just recommend that everybody take a look at people's previous statements in terms of whether they thought it was appropriate to go into Pakistan and take out bin Laden. I said that I'd go after bin Laden if we had a clear shot at him, and I did. If there are others who have said one thing and now suggest they do something else, then I'd go ahead and let them explain it.
Pakistan. You know, this is such an obvious attempt here to take what Romney said out of context. It was during a Republican debate, I believe. And what Romney essentially said was that he disagreed with the Democrats, that the definition of the war on terror was whether or not we got one man, bin Laden. And the overall war on terror, the money spent would be much better spent on the broader conflict than throwing millions and gazillions of whatever into getting one guy. And the reason Romney said it is because Democrats like Obama since 2004, 2005 have been claiming Bush failed in the war on terror because they didn't get bin Laden. And you find it interesting, a year after bin Laden is found and taken out, Obama last week announces the end of the war on terror. Snerdley did not know that. He'd been so busy screening calls he hadn't heard that. But we had clearly been told last week by the regime the war on terror was over, and the next day there was a story front page one of the newspapers about another drone strike and drone policy. So why are we still flying drones if the war on terror is over? Why is Al-Qaeda still killing people? And why is the Muslim Brotherhood here and doing what they're doing in Egypt and wanting permission to have sex with their dead wives for 6 hours after she dies? Why, if the war on terror is over? And the war on terror is over because the Democrats always defined it as Osama bin Laden being killed. This is infantile. This is childish immaturity, that answer that Obama gave. Well, anybody just go look at the record. Take a look at people's previous statements in terms of what they thought was appropriate to go into Pakistan. It's Pakistan. It's the way Americans say it. Pakistan. Get tired of hearing Pakistan every damn day.